On display is a whimsical bracelet that hints at luxury and fairy tales, though it's not exactly what it appears to be. Purported to be a Cartier-Disney collaboration, this piece is not authentic, but it reflects the surge of luxury-inspired merchandise that became popular in the early 2000s. The guest discovered it in 2012 at an estate jewelry shop window where it carried a price of $3,200. Crafted from gold tone base metal and enamel, it imitates the look of Cartier's signature solid gold, hallmark stamped creations. The bracelet features charming snow-white motifs, including the princess herself, alongside the 7 dwarfs. Closer inspection reveals mass-produced clasps and links, lacking the weight, precision, and meticulous finish of true Cartier craftsmanship. While it borrows visual cues of high-end jewelry, faux gold plating, and stylized motifs, it misses the hallmark details that verify authenticity. Even so, as a collectible example of early 2000s Disney-inspired luxury fashion, this bracelet would still command a price of...
I would give it a retail valuation on its own merits of approximately $2,000.
Okay.
It is not every day that we encounter a finely crafted instrument that has carried music across centuries. This violin has been carefully preserved within the guest's family for many decades.
My father had a long, illustrious career in the Air Force and rose to the rank of a major general. I don't know how much he paid for it, but he would have picked it up probably in the mid-1970s during one of his tours to Germany. It never was repaired. We've never obviously tried to play it. It hung on the wall, and it's an unusual piece, and I think that's probably why it had prominence and just as a wall hanging.
One of its most striking features is the lion carving atop the peg box, masterfully crafted from pear wood. The back is made of bird's-eye maple, a classic choice of the period that helps identify the instrument's origin and situates it within the rich tradition of Germanic violin making. Inside the violin, there are 3 labels. One repair label from H. Voigt in Vienna, dated 1879, a false Niccolo Amati label, and a 3rd label authenticating the maker as Matthias Hornsteiner.
The label says Matthias Hornsteiner, Lauten und Geigenmacher, Mittenwald, 1781.
It's from Mittenwald.
So Mittenwald is in the Bavarian Alps. Yes. It's been a center of violin making going back into the 1600s.
Hornsteiner, an 18th century Austrian luthier, worked in Vienna and its surrounding regions during a time when Central European violin making was profoundly influenced by the Italian masters of Cremona.
And the Hornsteiner family were the kings. They were the earliest of the makers. Well, there were 2 families, the Klotzes and the Hornsteiners. And the Hornsteiners were really highly regarded. And Matthias Hornsteiner II is considered to be the top-notch member of the Hornsteiner family.
Instruments by Hornsteiner are rare, celebrated for their tonal warmth, precise craftsmanship, and historical importance. This violin offers a tangible connection to the artistry and musical culture of late 18th century Vienna, a city central to the evolution of European classical music. In today's market, the retail value of this authentic Matthias Hornsteiner violin would be...
We would put a retail value on it of $20,000.
Oh my, really? Really?
That's right, and that's conservative.
It's going to stay in the family and be a masterpiece for our family for a long time. It's just a wonderful piece. We knew it was. We just had no idea how great it was.
Set on the display table is a compact, finely cast piece that blends function with artistry. This is a swivel gun that came from the Russians in Sitka, Alaska, gifted to a doctor stationed there by one of his patients.
And my father moved there after the war, worked in the hospital, he's an X-ray lab technician. So he got to know Dr. Chase, and toward the end of his time in Cordova, Dr. Chase passed this on to my father.
Known as a lantaka, these guns were used throughout the Malay archipelago, including Indonesia, the Philippines, and Borneo, between the 16th and 19th centuries. Small, decorative, and functional, they were mounted on boats, fortifications, or coastal defenses, serving both defensive and ceremonial purposes. This example is cast in bronze with iron reinforcements at the breech, measuring 1836 inches in length, light enough to swivel on a pivot mount. Its surface is adorned with ornate repoussé work and inscriptions in Jawi, Malay Arabic script. Dating to the 19th century, this piece reflects the high level of metallurgy and decorative skill achieved by Southeast Asian artisans. In today's market, this Southeast Asian swivel gun would be worth,
At auction, it would probably make somewhere between $800 to $1,200.
$1,200?
Yeah.
Okay.
Today's guest presented a collection that offers a window into the era when comic books became cultural icons.
I bought them new when I was about 11 and 12 years old, and I put them in a box, and for the last 50-something years they've sort of sat in that box. I got inspired when Antiques Roadshow came to town, and I thought I'd bring them in.
These Marvel comics, dating from 1962 to 1967, belong to the Silver Age of comics, a period that revitalized the superhero genre and introduced characters, stories, and artistic voices that still define popular culture today. Highlights of this collection include the Fantastic Four Magna 36, featuring the first appearance of the Frightful Four and Medusa. We also have the Fantastic Four Ulmahar 48 and Dabra 49, marking the debut of Galactus and the Silver Surfer. Another inclusion in this collection is the Fantastic Four Sank 52, introducing T'Challa, the Black Panther.
The Black Panther is the hottest character right now in the Marvel Universe, easily at auction. This is a $800 to $1,200 comic.
Another remarkable piece on display is the Avengers number 11, notable for the first crossover with Spider-Man joining the Avengers. Lastly, we can see the X-Men number 12, featuring the first appearance of the Juggernaut. The comics are in exceptional condition, which further enhances the collection's value. Together, these issues are not just collectible items, they are cultural artifacts representing the imagination and storytelling innovation of post-war America. In today's market, this set would be worth,
I think you easily have $30,000 to $40,000 worth of comics here. So times 100 at 12 cents a piece. I mean, what are you in, like 10 bucks all in, $12? I mean, that's not too bad of a return on your investment.
I didn't really think of it as an investment at 12, but I guess it was.
On the Fantastic Four 52, if this was in 9.8 condition, you'd easily have a $100,000 comic.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah, it's the Black Panther, of course.
It's hard to
30 years.
built for depth yet designed with restraint, this timepiece helped define the early era of underwater precision. The guest discovered it while thrifting and was immediately captivated.
What made you pick out this piece?
It tickled me. Every time I touched it, it had heft, it had weight. And so once I did that,
Feeling of quality, huh?
feeling something, and
Yeah.
I guess that's what quality feels like.
This is a large-size Blancpain aqua lung, produced around 1961 for civilian divers and diving equipment retailers. The aqua lung name was used in collaboration with the diving equipment company Aqualung U.S. Divers. Engineered to withstand depths of up to 1,000 feet, it features a stainless steel case, a screw-down back, and a rotating bakelite bezel with minute markings for precise dive timing. Its glossy black dial is accented by luminous hands, clear numerals, and the distinctive aqua lung script, all hallmarks of Blancpain's early dive watch mastery. Originally fitted with a black rubber strap, this watch now has a replacement, slightly affecting its originality, but not its allure. Blancpain aqua lung divers' watches have become highly collectible, and this example would be valued at,
I think a low estimate would be $25,000, and I think it more likely would sell between $30,000 and $35,000 at auction today.
Oh my, it's very nice to know. Thank you. I'm sorry, I'm trying to compose myself.
Yeah.
Thank you.
On display are a document and a sword that speak to duty, rank, and the burdens of war. These items belong to the guest's great-grandfather, a Union foot officer during the American Civil War.
Before the Civil War, he was a student at Virginia Military Institute, and when Virginia and West Virginia split, he had to resign from VMI, and he enlisted in the 14th Regiment of the West Virginia Volunteers to fight Virginia. 2 years later, he became a sergeant major of the 14th, and then a year after that, he was commissioned and became an officer, and that's when he got the sword.
The model, 1850. Foot officer's sword was adopted by the U.S. Army in 1850 and was intended for officers of captain rank and below. However, because swords were privately purchased, officers of any rank could own one.
As an officer, you had to buy your own equipment. So if you didn't have a lot of money, you would often buy a less expensive imported sword. These swords were really more a badge of office, not really a fighting weapon.
This French-patterned sword became the most widely carried blade by Union officers during the war. It features a half-basket guard stamped U.S. and was manufactured by makers, including the Ames Manufacturing Company. Remarkably, it retains its original blue steel scabbard with brass mounts, 2 suspensions, and rings for wearing on a sword belt. Original Union foot officers' swords like this are highly prized by collectors, and given its condition, complete scabbard, and accompanying document, this sword would be worth
At auction at more like $2,500 to $3,000 because we've got some good history about it.
Wow.
If I was going to insure these items, I would probably insure it in the $3,000 to $5,000 range.
Well, thank you.
What we have here is a timepiece that balances elegance with restraint, perfectly reflecting the style of its era. It once belonged to the guest's great-aunt and was discovered tucked away in a jewelry box after her passing. Made in the 1920s by Cartier, this watch exemplifies the brand's dedication to combining artistic design with technical precision. Notably, it features a sandwich construction where screws hold the components securely in place, ensuring both durability and accuracy. Its dial is adorned with vibrant blue enamel, a signature of Cartier's design language during this period. The watch also bears 3 sets of marks, 2 manufacturing numbers and 1 movement number, confirming its authenticity and craftsmanship. While the dial has been refinished and the original black band replaced, slightly affecting its value, this Cartier timepiece remains a remarkable example of early 20th century luxury watchmaking. In today's market, this watch would command a price of
probably of a value on a retail level of about $15,000.
Oh, I'm amazed.
This is a beautiful watch.
Thank you.
At first glance, it appears to be a cello, but look closer and the artistry of its maker begins to reveal itself. This instrument was purchased by the guest for Christmas a few years ago. Inside the cello, there is a label that once carried the maker's name, though it is now no longer decipherable. Examining the type of paper and printing, experts date the instrument to around 1770. The cello originates from Austria and is modeled after the work of Jacob Steiner, one of the most prominent Tyrolean makers of the 18th century. Steiner's instruments were highly prized across Europe, sought after by musicians and composers, including Johann Sebastian Bach and Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart. While this cello is original, it shows multiple cracks along the body and ribs, which affect its value. Despite these imperfections, its authenticity, historical significance, and connection to early Austrian lutherie make it a rare and noteworthy piece. In today's market, this 18th century Austrian cello, in its present condition, would be worth,
I think if you went back into the retail marketplace, it would be $15,000 cello.
Wow.
And if this cello were in really perfect, pristine condition, it would be a $60,000 cello.
Wow.
So I would love to just hear it a little bit. Could you play?
Sure.
Great, great, great.
Meteorites are fascinating celestial treasures, but this Palasite meteorite is exceptionally rare and valuable. A guest brought in a large meteorite her late husband found in Glorieta, New Mexico. Noting his passion for hunting meteorites, the appraiser identified it as a rare Palasite, a stony iron meteorite with olivine crystals and a mixture of iron and nickel. The meteorite, part of the famous Glorieta mountain fall, discovered in 1884, is notable for its rarity, as less than 1% of found meteorites are stony irons. The appraiser explained that collectors often slice and polish such meteorites to reveal the crystals, but this one remains untouched, preserving its natural state. The meteorite weighs approximately 1,300 grams.
I tried to weigh it. We didn't have a super accurate scale, but I'm thinking it's around 1,300 grams.
Okay.
For insurance purposes, it's valued as.
And as such, I would say we're looking at a value of, for insurance purposes, $20,000.
Wow.
The guest knew that her husband would have been thrilled with the result.
That's wonderful. He would have been jumping up and down right now. He really
Feel free
would
to
have.
do it.
Yeah, thank you. He would have loved it.
While many antique glass items hold historical value, this glass biscuit jar stands out for its unique design and rich heritage. A guest brought in a glass biscuit jar given to her by her friend, noting its Napolei mark at the bottom made her believe it might be Italian. The appraiser identified it as Napolei glass made by Mount Washington Glass Company, which operated in 1837 in South Boston and later moved to New Bedford in 1870. The jar dates between 1894 and 1896, designed by the head of Mount Washington, Albert Stephan. The jar features charming features inspired by a popular series of illustrations, Palmer Cox's Brownies. Notably, the figures are painted on the interior, showcasing remarkable craftsmanship. The jar has a gilt webbing and tied twig handle with slight tarnishing on the metal. Despite this, it remains in excellent condition. The appraiser valued it at auction as.
In terms of value, it's something like this at auction could easily bring between $4,000 and $6,000.
Oh my word, I had no idea. That's great, thank you.
Tobacco pouches come in many forms and styles, but this particular tobacco pouch holds extraordinary historical value and provenance. The guest presented a tobacco pouch with significant historical value, tracing back to her great-great-grandfather, Major John Dottery, who was an Indian agent in the early 1800s. Dottery received the pouch from one of three Native American leaders, Etan, White Plume of the Kanza, or Big Elk of the Etoe. The appraiser highlighted the item's rarity and historical significance, dating it to around 1830 to 1840.
Bandolier bags from these groups are very rare. I've seen a handful in my time.
The pouch, possibly used as a shot pouch or bandolier bag, shows influences from the Kanza, Etoe, and Eastern Sioux tribes. It features trade materials with frayed blue silk edging and bifurcated tabs at the bottom. The appraiser emphasized the holy trinity of evaluation: rarity, provenance, and beauty, all of which this pouch possesses. The provenance, tied to major deity, greatly enhances its value. The appraiser estimated the pouch's worth to be.
We could easily sell this in the neighborhood of $30,000 to $35,000.
Oh my gosh.
Family heirloom, once thought to be a darkened old painting, is revealed to be a vibrant masterpiece by Fern Coppedge. A guest brought a painting that had been in their family for generations to an appraiser. The artwork by Fern Coppedge depicts scenes from the Lehigh Valleyland and Delaware Gap area. The guest believed their grandparents purchased it from an auction or fundraiser for Lafayette College in eastern Pennsylvania. The appraiser noted a price tag of $100 and the title, December Mist, Fern Coppedge. A well-known Pennsylvania impressionist likely painted it early in her career after moving to Pennsylvania in 1920. Although the painting had darkened with age, it was originally vibrant with attention to color. The appraiser explained that Coppedge studied in the Art Institute of Chicago, the Art Students League in New York, and the Pennsylvania Academy of Fine Arts. The guest estimated the painting was purchased in the 1920s or 1930s, aligning with Coppedge's timeline. Despite the dirt on the canvas, the appraiser assured the guest that cleaning would reveal more vivid colors. They also mentioned Coppedge's association with the Philadelphia 10, a group of progressive female artists. The appraiser expected vibrant purples to emerge after cleaning and confirmed the painting's original frame. They highlighted Coppedge's passion for snowy landscapes, painting outdoors, sometimes even in a bearskin. While examining the item, the appraiser said,
I would insure this for no less than $120,000.
Oh, really? Wow.
Showcased here is a vase that has been in the guest's family for over 100 years.
The only thing I know about that vase is my mom said it was around all her life and she lived to be 98 years old.
The vase was crafted by the Teco Company around 1915 in Illinois. Teco Company mark. It features a distinctive matte green glaze, often referred to as Teco green, made from fine terracotta clay. The vase was fired to achieve a durable, yet slightly porous body. Interestingly, Teco pieces were handcrafted, making slight variations in shape and finish a hallmark of their authenticity.
So Teco was definitely one of the most important pottery companies in the country to do very popular designs like this.
The Teco mark on the bottom further confirms the piece's authenticity. However, there are small nicks visible on the two handles, which is common for items of this nature. Despite these minor imperfections, the vase is expected to fetch a significant auction price of
Would easily be $1,500 to $2,000.
Oh my heavens, I never would have thought that. Oh, that's wonderful.
The candelabra was showcased, which the guest purchased from a former silver buyer for Macy's in New York. There was also catalogs and other items as part of the purchase. Initially, it was believed that the item was designed by Georg Jensen, based on a photo in a catalog. The appraiser also noticed its resemblance to Jensen's pomegranate design. However, the piece lacked the Jensen mark and bore a different monogram and number. The hallmark belonged to an unknown American silversmith working in a Jensen-inspired style. Nevertheless, the candelabra remained stunning, with intricate hand hammering. The appraiser praised the craftsmanship, featuring stylized pomegranates and fruiting vines. Originally bought for $500, the item was valued at
I would say as an auction estimate, I think you're probably looking at maybe $6,000 to $8,000 as an auction estimate.
A French bronze statue of Benjamin Franklin was showcased at the show. The guest purchased the item at an antique fair in England for £1,000. The statue was considered a highly detailed and well-cast depiction of Franklin. The appraiser provided background details about Franklin, renowned as a statesman and scientist.
And of course, Franklin was very known for his experiments with electricity, the famous kite in a storm with the key, and he received worldwide recognition for that.
The device depicted in the sculpture illustrates an electrostatic generator. The appraiser explained the functionality of this extraordinary device, crafted in France in the mid-19th century. The sculpture portrays Franklin in luxurious garments on a Rococo-style throne. Additionally, the piece prominently emphasizes his significant contributions to science. Based on the piece's quality and uniqueness, the suggested auction value was
I would actually estimate it in the $4,000 to $6,000 price range.
Oh, nice.
Okay?
Yes.
Great.
Thank you.
This Rolex watch belonged to the guest's stepfather, who was a prisoner of war in World War II at Stalag Luft III in Sargen, Germany. This particular camp was renowned as the setting for the events depicted in the movie, The Great Escape. The guest also presented a book named The Great Escape, on which the famous movie is based on.
These men plotted, these men dared, these men lived. The Great Escape.
The story behind Great Escape is that on the night of March 24th to 25th, 1944, 76 Allied prisoners of Stalag Luft III escaped through a tunnel named Harry. The book included a photograph of the guest's grandfather, who had also been a prisoner at the same camp and was responsible for disposing of sand during tunnel excavation. Although not one of the escapees, the guest's stepfather was a spy for the OSS and had a remarkable history of escapes and survival, enduring multiple captures and stints in solitary confinement. This Rolex watch, dating to the 1940s, marked the end of World War II, thus confirming its authenticity. It featured a chronograph design with two buttons, a subdial and a side dial, housed in a stainless steel case. Particularly rare for its time, the watch boasted an original black dial, leaving the guest in awe. Given the watch's historical significance and exceptional condition, it was appraised at an impressive.
This watch today, I feel this will sell very easily at auction, between $40,000 to $50,000.
Oh my gosh.
Paintings can tell stories and capture the beauty of different eras, but these Japanese woodblock prints are particularly special. The guest inherited two intriguing pictures from his aunt's estate and suspected they were from the Northwest. Unsure if they were watercolors or prints, he sought an appraisal. The appraiser identified them as Japanese woodblock prints by Hiroshi Yoshida, 1876 to 1850, a renowned artist known for his woodblock prints, watercolors, and oil paintings. These prints, published in the 1920s, featured the Jerusy seal, confirming they were printed by Yoshida himself, along with his brush signature and artist's chop. The double-sized print was especially rare, with fewer than 100 made.
This is a double-sized print. He did not do many double-sized prints, and most of them were done in a quantity of no more than 100.
Some toning due to acidic matting could be restored for about $300. The appraiser valued the prints without restoration to be,
As is, without restoration, the print's worth perhaps $4,500.
and after restoration, the appraiser valued them as,
But with the restoration, which is going to cost around $300, but well worth it, then the print is between $5,000 and $6,000.
in its current condition, its worth is.
That would be a retail price, and this would have a value of, right now, in that condition, it's fine, of about $2,500.
That's great. Thank you very much.
Tiles often vary in color and design, but this tile is an exceptional example of Grueby pottery's craftsmanship. A guest received a tile from a friend, an antique dealer in Florida, in exchange for a mantel clock worth a few $100s. The appraiser confirmed the tile was made by the Grueby Pottery Company. Key features included the artist's initials on the back and the distinct glaze pattern. The tile's division into 4 sections and its dozen colors further affirmed its origin. Unlike most Grueby tiles with 4 to 6 colors, this one boasts a vibrant array. The decoration style, called Cuenca, uses a burnt black line to separate color fields. The appraiser praised the tile for its strong, powerful image and excellent color separation. According to its characteristics, the appraiser valued it as,
at auction, this tile is worth somewhere between $4,000 and $5,000.
This bowl came to the guest as a gift from her neighbor.
My neighbor gave it to me as a gift. I knew nothing about it, and she didn't either, really. It came from a family member of hers down in Florida. She got it about 40 years ago.
It is beautifully enamel decorated, with flambe colors intricately blended into the enamel. The bowl's origin and maker elevate it from ordinary to unique and extraordinary, as it bears the hallmark of the English ceramic and home accessories manufacturer, Royal Doulton. Royal Doulton. Founded in 1815 by John Doulton, the company became one of the first British makers of art pottery, John Doulton. Additionally, the piece bears a sung signature referencing a ware made in China during an earlier period that influenced this bowl's style.
But that's where the influence came from.
Okay.
And they called this particular style sungware and was done from a period of about 1920 to 1940.
The bowl also features the signature of its designer, Charles Noak, who served as the chief designer for Doulton from 1899 to 1941. Charles Noak was responsible for establishing a great number of premier wares, and the unusual glaze on this bowl is a perfection of his technique. Dated between the 1930s and 1940s, this piece is presented in excellent condition and would sell at auction for.
I would expect it to sell in the range of $3,000 to $5,000.
Oh, my. Oh, well, I'll have to tell my friend. She may want it back.
The Meiji period in Japan blended traditional aesthetics with Western influences. It's an intricate art form with fine wares and glass. Meiji period cloisonné, exemplified by large decorative plates, showcases Japanese craftsmanship. In this area, small spots and edges of birds and dragons were covered in gold leaf. The decoration features Japanese adaptations of Chinese motifs, including dragons and celestial pearls. These charges were generated from copper or brass for their strength and workability. Enamels with powdered glass and metallic oxides produced vibrant hues. The array of hues, from deep blues to vivid reds, amazed the appraiser, who valued the item.
It's worth between $3,000 to $5,000.
Okay.
This book is a family heirloom passed down over 4 generations.
I had a great-great-grandfather who joined the church in England in 1840, and I think that this must have been one of his possessions.
It is a first edition of The Pearl of Great Price, published in Liverpool by the British Mission in 1851. British Mission, Liverpool. This book is the 3rd volume of Mormon scripture, published after the death of the religious leader and founder of Mormonism, Joseph Smith. Joseph Smith. A signature on the piece bears the name of the founder, though it isn't actually his, as he did not live to see the volume published. At the back of the book, there is a list of other current books and their prices of the day on salmon paper, protected by homemade wrappings.
This salmon wrapper on the back that lists other current books and their prices of the day. And that's what makes this copy extremely unusual.
The appraiser points out that copies of this volume of scripture aren't that unusual, but the original wrappers are almost unheard of. Additionally, this copy includes a facsimile of the Book of Abraham with a folded plate that is almost always missing in other copies. Although this copy has weathered over time, its pages remain intact, and it bears several unique features that make it stand out on the market. At an auction, this book will have an estimated value of
$45,000 to $55,000.
This guitar belonged to the guest's late grandfather. This is far from an ordinary guitar, as it is a rare Gibson L3, crafted between 1902 and the 1930s. Every Gibson guitar manufactured since 1902 bears a serial number indicating its year of production, and the number on this guitar suggests it was made in 1928. This L3 guitar had a spruce top, maple sides, an ebony fingerboard, and an O-hole. Gibson discontinued the product of arch-top guitars in the 1930s, transitioning to models with flat tops thereafter. There was also a picture of the guest's grandfather playing this guitar. His grandfather used to play in a Sunday school church, and even on the radio. The appraiser praised the large Hohner tremolo harmonica, noting its unique feature where one side plays in C and the other in G, creating a rich orchestral sound when played. Praising the talent of the guest's grandfather, the appraiser estimated this harmonica to be,
in my opinion, everything together here is probably worth around $3,000 to $5,000. Wow.
This guest purchased these spectacular pieces at a thrift store for just over $25. These paintings are ink and gouache on silk Chinese artworks. Although very similar in content, each painting was done by a different artist and at different times. The first painting, created around the late 19th century, is in the style of Emperor Huizong of the Song dynasty and is in very good condition. Emperor Huizong. With some beautiful toning to the silk that enhances its appearance and quality. The second painting, on the other hand, is in relatively poor condition, bearing tears on the silk. Some restoration has been done to stabilize the piece and bring it as close to its original form as possible. It bears an inscription that translates to its place of origin, Zongyang, and the artist, Kui Lan.
The inscription says Zongyang, Chue Lan. Zongyang is a county in Anhui province.
Kui Lan was a Chinese artist who lived from 1758 until 1844, so we can infer that this painting comes from the late 18th century or early 19th century. This piece is symbolic, featuring peonies that symbolize wealth, butterflies often associated with marriage, and bees representing propagation. These two pieces are not just eye-catching, but also significantly important to the Chinese art niche and would sell at an auction for,
at auction, is worth $4,000 to $6,000.
That's cool. Yes, I'm excited about that.
This guest inherited the painting from his mother, and it had hung in his grandparents' house for decades. The painting was created by Joseph Fleck. Fleck was an American painter and muralist.
And in 1922, he was working for Tiffany's as a stained glass designer.
He's known for his textured and layered brushstrokes that give his landscapes a tactile quality. This particular work beautifully captures the landscape view of Taos, New Mexico. In the painting, one can see trees, land, and lush greenery. Interestingly, this painting has been perfectly preserved over the years. At auction, this landscape, painted by Joseph Fleck, would be valued at.
And I think even in the current market, this painting is worth $15,000 to $25,000 at auction right now.